Okay, well, here we are at the Festival of Dreams, and I have to say we've got two of Hollywood's greatest stars out here with us today. Of course, Elder Saginaw Grant is joining us. You've seen him on all those Hollywood TV shows and movies, playing cowboys and Indians, and of course, Rick Mora. Welcome to our little entertainment spot.
Thank you.
Firstly, Elder Grant, I'd like to ask you about your Hollywood career. When you see yourself on TV and watch yourself in the movies, what goes through your mind when you look at your life, where you started from and where you are now?
I can't believe it. I really can't. I don't even recognize myself.
Yeah. Was it a dream to go into Hollywood, or how did that happen?
No, it was a dream. I mean, it happened. It just happened. It was the thing about when I finally got to Hollywood, or before I got started in Hollywood, I had no desire to be an actor. It never even entered my mind. I was 50 years old. And I'm a writer, but I was holding a seminar up in Northern California, around San Francisco, at a college up there. And a young man asked me, there was a client, if I could do a commercial. And I said, yeah. He said, you can do this commercial for my company, car dealership. I said, yeah. He said, well, can you give me some information about what you've done in the past? And I said, what do you mean? He said, like a resume, the things that you appeared in with an audience. And I thought, and I said, well, I was a reindeer in the first grade in a Christmas show. And I stopped there. And he looked at me and says, is that it? And I said, that's it. And he said, but you can do the commercial. And I said, well, you wouldn't have asked me if I couldn't. You had faith in me to know that maybe I could. So I have to believe in myself. And that's when I made the commercial. I made 2 commercials, in fact. And that's how I got started.
It's an interesting career working in the world of entertainment, and it's very fickle. Yeah. Fame and fortune is what we're sold all the time when you look at E-News. What advice do you have for people that are in the industry today who do get that fame and fortune on what they do with themselves and how they impact the environment? Because you're very passionate about Mother Earth.
Yeah, I am. I think that we could be more giving, more sharing the limelight. You know, it's like you say, it's a fickle occupation. I find it hard to not play the characters that I'm cast to do, but I find it hard to live that way or become that character, because there's a lot of things I say or from a script I don't really believe. And it's hard for me to make that transition.
So working with the great directors like John Wayne and Clint Eastwood and people like that, they must be fun to hang around with. What's it like to work on a movie with those types of people?
You know, the funny thing about it is when I'm working with people like that, we don't, unless they're directing me and what to say and how to say it and everything, we don't talk about it. I mean, I don't pay no attention to it. We talk about how I was raised up and how they were raised up. And then we get back into that mood of doing what I have to do, read the script and everything. But for instance, like Johnny Depp, we didn't talk about what we were doing on the set. We talked about how we raised up and what happened during our childhood. We never mentioned the movie that we was in, which was The Lone Ranger. And I don't know, it's just, I prepare myself that way because I don't want to read or try to memorize a script right while I'm on screen. But I have to be somewhere else before I do that, because I go over the script so much, so badly that sometimes I don't even believe what I'm saying. Really, I mean, it gets monotonous, you know.
It's better to ad-lib it sometimes.
Yeah, it really is.
I want to go over to Rick for a minute because, Rick, you started, you would have watched Elder on movies. Have you seen many of his movies?
Are you kidding? I've watched all of his movies.
Yeah, I can remember as a kid watching you on TV. And so to sit next to this man, but to be able to work with this man, what have you learned about Hollywood?
I've learned that what I've been given is a blessing, and to honor it and respect it. I've learned that that it's a very special blessing that we are given. We're chosen. Well, I didn't choose this path. Once again, it chose me. And I think it's a responsibility that I honor it, and that I honor the people that I represent. And I have no greater mentor in the world than having my elder there with me to undergo this process.
Speaking of a process, life is a process. We have terrible things that happen to us, as you were talking about last night. We learn from those experiences. The big thing that I took away from your talk last night was the words, "Thy will be done." The Our Father, a very important prayer for millions and millions of people. Can you just explain to me what you mean by "Thy will be done"?
A lot of times when we say the Lord's Prayer, that's where that came from. It's not the prayer, it's the people that say it. They don't, I don't think that they really mean it. They memorize it. It's a memory thing that you know what to say. Do you really mean that? I want to ask them sometimes when they suggest that I say that prayer. I mean it when I say that prayer. I mean it because God to me is a higher power that gives me everything I have in life. I don't want. My motto is that you have everything already. You don't have to want something else, you know. I'm not what you would call greedy. No. And a lot of people are that way today. And when they say that prayer, they say it solemnly, but they memorize it, and they don't mean it. It's like saying, like they don't even know what they're saying, or else they would use a different tone of voice and mean what they say and live by that when you're talking to God.
Does it scare you, both of you, coming from the media and the movies, men of the movies, does it scare you the power that the movies in Hollywood has on the rest of the world? Rick, do you want to answer that?
I don't think it's a fear. I mean, we don't fear it. I think that what we do is recognize that it's a platform, and it's a platform that we have the ability to share a message and to actually have the control over what we present to people for the first time. We aren't being manufactured and we aren't being produced. We are producing ourselves, and I think that's the true essence of how to manage that monster, because it truly is a monster. It is a beautiful monster, but it's used in many positive ways and many negative ways. And so being able to produce content and keep it in a positive platform is the blessing and the gift that we have accessible to.
And it's changed so much over the years with social media and live television programs that run out all the time. How do you navigate through all of that but still get that message across that you're trying to help people and save Mother Earth? Because what you said last night was true. We're just covering her with concrete and digging holes and sinkholes, and there's so much devastation happening.
It's when I'm playing a character on a movie set, I try to become that person. I don't rely on how I live. I have to play that character because that's what the script says, and I do that because get involved in it. It's when I leave the set that I become myself again. When I know what I want, when I know what I need to do in life. But there have been characters that I didn't really particularly care for. But I made a contract, I signed a contract, so I have to do that. You know, there's a lot of times that I want to change the script or say something different rather than they can do a lot of cursing today. And that's against what I believe, but I have to do it because I was signed a contract for that role, so I have to do it. But I immediately asked for forgiveness, and I know that I am. I know that I'm in a position where I have to do that, or get sued, or get fired, or something.
Finally, Elder Grant, I wanted to ask you, looking back on your career, what's your most favourite movie that you've done and why?
There's one that recently I've done. It's called Winter in the Blood. And it's a movie about Native people, about a young man who took to the alcoholic way of life, but he talked with me, and I play a blind character in there, one who lives by himself but knows everything about what he needs to do and how to live his life. And he comes to me, and then I advise him of what he needs to do, just like I do when I'm talking on about what I'm here for. And I'm truthful there because that's part of what I believe in. And then the things that I told him or was telling him hit him. He said, "That's right." That's right.
Now, you're both sex symbols in various roles over your careers. Finally, Rick, how do you cope with the success of Twilight and being a sex symbol for all these young generations of people? Can you use that to your advantage?
Well, I'm humbled. I'm very, very humbled by it. I always try to remind everybody I'm a normal man. I'm just trapped in the body of a warrior.
Well, there you go, folks. Talking to Elder Saginaw Grant and, of course, Rick Mora at the Festival of Dreams, all about their wonderful careers in Hollywood. And, of course, you can find out more details by following them on their social media platforms and seeing their websites. Thank you very much for your time.